Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham, and we've got some breaking news to discuss here on this show. The Bears have cut 7 players in their initial wave, or whatever you want to call it. We'll break down that, plus explore who could be coming next down the pipeline as Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, and the rest of the staff have until Tuesday at 3 o'clock Central Time. Cuts are starting to happen across the league, so we will continue to have you covered. That's why you subscribe to the show, whether it's my off day like today or whether we're in the studio when breaking news drops, big or small. We are bringing you an episode here on the channel, my reaction, my take to everything going on around this football team. Appreciate all the support already. If you've already subscribed, go above and beyond. Turn on those notifications. All right. The cut that's been announced by Adam Schefter, then I'll get to 6 more that I was told by a source. Samori Toure, that is the receiver who was on the practice squad last year. He was with Green Bay before then. Adam Schefter announced that cut a little bit ago. No surprise, right? He was playing deep into the fourth quarter of most of these preseason games, and I don't even know how much run he got in that last game since guys like Jade Walker, players clearly ahead of him, were still out there late in the game. He had no path to the roster, so I'm not surprised to see him kind of revealed in this initial wave of cuts for the Chicago Bears. I don't even really, if I'm being honest, as I just kind of look at the depth chart here, I don't really view him as even a practice squad candidate. I mean, if they cut a guy like Tyler Scott and he doesn't get claimed, I'd rather keep him. A guy like J.P. Richardson, I'd rather keep him. We'll see what happens with Miles Boykin, Maurice Alexander, Jade Walker, guys on the bubble, but they would all be guys I would keep as well. So Samori Toure is cut. That one was announced by Adam Schefter. 6 more players have been cut, according to a source, and I can reveal who those players are. 4 of them I'll kind of group together. Remember when the defensive back injuries were piling up and they just needed some bodies and the Bears signed 4 DBs? It's about 2.5 weeks ago. They have all been cut. Cornerback Mekhi Garner, safeties Mark Perry and Millard Bradford, defensive back Kaleb Hayes. We knew at the time that was a camp bodies necessity situation. Now, has 1 or 2 of those guys shown enough to perhaps be on the practice squad? We'll see. Millard Bradford made the Saints roster last year as an undrafted free agent to be on their defense and play on special teams. We know Dennis Allen is familiar with him, so maybe he would advocate to keep Bradford around. Maybe one of the other guys showed something, but no one should be surprised that those cuts have happened. And I do think that gets us closer, especially at safety, to the 4 safeties that we all expect to make the team to just be locked in. I don't think any of them showed enough to make it as a 5th safety. Alex Cook would be the one guy that stood out to me, had the hard hit on the goal line that prevented a touchdown for at least a play this past week. He had a few nice moments in camp, but I don't think he ends up making it either. But just to repeat, Kaleb Hayes, Mark Perry, Mekhi Garner, Millard Bradford have all been cut. The 4 safeties to just keep it within the safety position that should make the team are, of course, starters Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker, and then backups Jonathan Owens and Elijah Hicks. Okay, 2 more cuts. We'll start with the guy who scored a touchdown the other night, but the ultimate, we just need to get through a preseason game at a position where injuries have piled up guy, Royce Freeman. Again, no surprise there, but like I said when they signed him, control what you can control. Put some good tape out there. Caught a touchdown from Tyson Bagent, so good for him on that. Maybe a deep chance where he's on the practice squad. He was on the Bears practice squad last December, which admittedly I didn't even remember, but someone had mentioned that on Twitter. May have been Brad Biggs or someone else, and I was like, oh, I don't even remember that during that 10-game losing streak. A lot I do remember. Unfortunately, I do not remember the Royce Freeman edition, but we'll see if he sticks around. Probably not. You would think an Ian Wheeler or a Britton Brown if he gets cut, although he got a shout-out from Ryan Poles. Could he be a sleeper to make the team? We'll see. You would think guys of that ilk would be more likely to make the practice squad, but chances are at least 1, if not 2 running backs will be on the practice squad. So we'll keep an eye on Royce Freeman. And then the last cut that I've been told so far is Chris Glaser. If you remember that Miami game, I think he actually started due to some injuries, and he was pretty brutal. I thought he played better as the preseason went on. He does have center guard flexibility, so he could be a guy that returns to the practice squad depending on what happens. Could Doug Kramer, if he gets cut, get claimed by someone else? Possibly. Or if he's banged up, do you keep a Chris Glaser at least initially on the practice squad? So we'll see what happens there. Wouldn't expect Glaser to get picked up on the waiver wire come Wednesday, but you never know. Teams are always looking for offensive linemen, and the one thing he does offer is positional versatility, and I did think he got better as camp went on, but he was buried pretty deep on the depth chart. Want to hear from you guys, then we'll explore some other cuts that are likely coming next. We'll save kind of some roster bubble guys for a different video that might go tonight or tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that, but we'll kind of explore some not to be rude, but obvious cuts that are still likely coming here in just a moment. But I want to hear from you guys. Who gets cut next? Who is a name that you expect the Bears to cut next? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments of this video. Okay, just looking back at the roster here, I think guys that I just don't really see a path to the roster. My guy, J.P. Richardson, started camp strong, had that one-handed catch on the first day, but cooled off. I still think an interesting practice squad candidate, given he does have return flex and ability, but he's not going to make the 53. I would imagine he's one that gets announced before the full cuts on Tuesday. Looking at the offensive line, I don't know if there's any more obvious ones. Maybe Ricky Stromberg, but with Doug Kramer being banged up, I think Stromberg's been banged up too, but those are two guys to watch. I could see both of them getting cut, but that could be closer to Tuesday. We'll see. Oh, Josh Miles, the last offensive tackle, he's not going to make this team. He struggled mightily. He was the right tackle with the threes late in the games. At least Karan Amagaji played pretty good with the threes the other night. He's obviously one of those guys in the bubble. Joshua Miles has not played well. He will be cut. Tight end. Obviously, one of Joel Wilson and Steven Carlson, maybe both, get cut. We'll see when that happens. We know Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, and Durham Smythe are on the team. If they keep a fourth, I would lean Steven Carlson, but that's kind of gone back and forth between him and Joel Wilson. I think the ideal scenario is you keep both on the practice squad, because remember, practice squad players you can elevate to the game day roster 3 times. That would give you 6 weeks out of a 17-week schedule if you're able to get both those guys to the practice squad to potentially get called up. So I think that would be ideal, but maybe they opt to keep one of them. Running back, and then we'll go to the defensive side, just exploring. I don't know if there's any more obvious ones. I don't think Ian Wheeler makes the 53, but with how banged up that position is there a world where he made it initially and then they kind of scour the waiver wire? Possibly. He was also in street clothes the other night, so not sure what's going on with him. Britton Brown got a shout out from Ryan Poles, so maybe he's closer to the bubble. I'd still be surprised if he made it. Travis Homer's banged up, but I think he's on the 53 if he's healthy. Could be a short-term IR candidate. Keep an eye on that. Kyle Monungai is going to be on the team. Obviously, DeAndre Swift. Then Roshan Johnson is a wild card because how serious is the injury? How bad's the foot? Is there something else going on? Is there a concussion issue that's popped back up? Because he has a history of that. We're not really sure, but certainly worthy of keeping him in mind. Let's go to the defense now. Guys that are going to get cut. I was hopeful for Xavier Carlton. Didn't show much in these preseason games. Don't expect him to make it. Jamry Chroma is another guy that I would not expect to be on the 53. Carlton's a guy I'd maybe try to keep around in the practice squad. Other defensive linemen, these are more bubble guys, but Chris Williams, Jonathan Ford, Zach Pickens at defensive tackle, I'd say probably one of those guys makes the team. So who does that end up being? I'd say the favorite is Chris Williams. He's flashed some as a pass rusher and did some good things last year. It just feels like the clock has run out on Zach Pickens, but former third-round pick, maybe they keep him around initially. We'll see. Defensive end position, Daniel Hardy, Tano Passanio. Hardy got a shout-out from Ben Johnson the other night. He had that big strip sack. That could have been a scoop and score if the officials didn't blow it dead. He also has really good special teams value. Passanio, more of that Dennis Allen prototype defensive end that can kick inside, 6'5", 280. So, they might like him better as a defensive end, but Daniel Hardy could actually have more value as he's going to play on special teams. How does Austin Booker, who Ben Johnson announced will miss a few weeks, factor into that decision? Because obviously Booker's going to be on the team. Could be a short-term IR guy, but does that factor in on if they keep Hardy, Passanio, or both? We'll see. Is Dominique Robinson safe? He's probably on the right side of the bubble, but still probably on the bubble. Okay, linebacker. A few ones I think that would be pretty straightforward. Sways, Bozeman, Power Eccles. I would expect both those guys to get cut. Carl Jones probably gets cut as well. And then you keep the other 5. TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Ruben Hippolyte, Noah Sewell, Amon Ogbongbemiga. We already went over safety. Tysheem Johnson, he's probably not making the team. Neither is Alex Cook, but maybe one or both of those guys sticks around on the P squad. And then corner, Trey Flowers probably gets cut, but could be closer to the bubble given the issues at outside corner with injuries, and then with Nashawn Wright not playing well in these preseason games. So maybe Flowers has a small chance to the roster. I'm not sure. You would think that Nashawn Wright is still safe on the team. Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, obviously on the team. Tyreek Stevenson's going to be on the team. And then I think Nick McLeod and Josh Blackwell are on the team. So we'll see if they keep Trey Flowers initially. He's also a vested veteran, so they could cut him without subjecting him to waivers, and then could bring him back if they make a corresponding move. So that is another option for him. And then lastly, the only decision that really needs to be made is, other than the guys on the bubble we just mentioned, is I assume Scott Daly's the long snapper, but is there a chance it's Luke Elkin, who was the long snapper for Torrey Taylor at Iowa? That would be a surprise, I would think, but I suppose you never know. So there you have it. Those are kind of some early thoughts on who could get cut next. Just to recap the news, the 7 players who have been cut, Adam Schefter announced wide receiver Samori Toure, and then I've been told by a source these 6 players: Royce Freeman, Chris Glaser, Kaleb Hayes, Mekhi Garner, Mark Perry, and Millard Bradford have also been cut as well. So we'll continue to pass along the news as it comes in. My name is Harrison Graham. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and bear down.